Hi, I plan on doing a couple of fragrance charms for you since I've been asked quite a bit about them. And so this is a 50-gram moon press, and I think this one's a 75-gram moon press. And you will take the plate, if you don't already know how to do it, insert it in, and at the top here you twist to lock it into place, and then that's your plate. And same with the smaller one. You pick out what plate you would like, insert, and then lock it in. And I've pulled out enough clay that makes it exactly 60 grams, or 2 ounces, 2.10 ounces of clay. Now, if it gets to dry and you start seeing like little cracks in it while you're trying to roll it into a ball, just dip your fingertips in a tiny bit of water, and then you would just roll it. Try to keep those cracks out of there, because as soon as it starts to dry out a little bit, then that's when it starts to crumble on you on your edges when you go to press it. So you want it kind of damp. Even if you are using baking soda, you still want the ball to be a little bit damp on you, so it'll roll itself together nicely when you press down on it. Okay, see there's no cracks on there? And if there is, you just continue to roll a little bit with some more water. No cracks. Okay, so I'm going to use the 50-gram press for this one. What I do is I place it in the middle of my paper. I take my mooncake press, and I push it out as far as I can so that the design is out. Push it into the baking soda. You see it's kind of clumpy in there, so you want to tap that out quite a bit. You don't want giant clumps of it, because when you start getting giant clumps, then the shape won't take as well. The design won't pop out. Just kind of shake it off a little bit, so it's going to be kind of, you won't see it, but it's in there. So then I just place it over the top of my clay. I push down pretty hard. Put some force into it. I hold it for about 30 seconds or so. I try to push some force down on it, but not enough to break the press or anything like that. Just enough to push that design in there pretty good. Okay. And then what I do is I don't release the lever up. Okay. So then what I do is I pull up gently, like that. And then this is what you got at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. Yep. Okay, and then I take my fingertips and put them in some baking soda and get them nice and dried out. Get some baking soda on my fingertips. I slowly go around the clay and gently peel it off. So, your edges are pretty nice. And if it looks like it's dried out too much, then what I would do is take a tiny bit of water on your fingertip and just lightly touch up the clay where it's cracking just a tiny bit, so it smooths it out. That water will help a little bit to keep it from cracking, and it dries just the same. And then, like if you've got baking soda chunks on it, just wait until it's dried out completely, and then you take a makeup brush and just brush that the baking soda, the dried baking soda, right off. Okay, so I use a knitting needle because I'm a knitter and crocheter, and I take my knitting needle and I just kind of figure out the placement of where I want the hole. With these ones, I generally try to get it off to the side right here in between the petals. So then what I do is I just take my knitting needle and go straight in, poke it through, and pull it out. And then you got your perfect little hole. And I use a size 3 knitting needle for that. And it makes the perfect mount. So yeah, you'll have a bubble in the back. But then once mine are dry, I take a nail file and I file it down. So you may have them dried up and stuff, but it'll work out. So this is going to be the 75-gram moon press. I've never tried this size before. This is a little bit bigger than what I usually use. I usually pretty much only go with the 50-gram. Just because it always works for me. But I really kind of want to start doing the 100-gram, or yeah, the 100-gram ones, because I want to start making some coasters. Some thirsty stone type things. Okay, so I grab a piece of clay, roll it up. My hands are pretty dry. So if your hands are pretty dry, you just want to put some water. Get some water going in your hand. Because the drier your hands are, the clay is not going to mold as well. And this is air dry clay. This you just leave out and it dries on its own. You don't have to bake it or anything like that, which is really nice. I've tried the white, and I don't do so well with the white. It's too soft for me. And it just kind of doesn't hold the doesn't take the shape as well. This is using the white with micas in it. And you see the edges aren't crisp. It isn't, the back's a mess. Yeah, I mean, it's not a very good clay for me. So I pretty much just stick with the air dry clay. It works really well. And so I just roll it out. Get it where I'm happy with it. This is pretty good. There's no cracks or anything like that. And yeah, my hands are a mess from it. You have to excuse my nail polish. My kids were playing. And they were stamping me up and painting my nails and all sorts of fun stuff. So, okay. So I get my press completely. Baking soda up. Shake off the excess. Place it over the top. Push down. Hold it for about 30 seconds. And then I just kind of try to get that shape in there really well. You don't have to push the plunger up and down or anything like that. You just got to hold it down to that clay. And you'll put that shape in there really well. So I'll keep that plunger pushed down. Slowly release it up. And it's nice and flat on the bottom. I get baking soda on my fingertips. And slowly peel it off. If you work really slow and put baking soda on your fingertips so it doesn't get slippery, you won't mess up the outline of the mold. See, it's not perfect by any means. This is the first time I've ever done this size, so I mean, it's not bad, it's pretty. So maybe a little bit less clay next time or something, I'm not sure. I'll have to keep playing with it to see if I like it. It rounded out pretty good. I'd probably, next time, probably just push down a little bit harder on it. And then find a place to stick the hole. I'm not too picky about the hole placement. And then, see, I put a little bit of fingerprint right there. You take a little bit of clay, or a little bit of water. And it's clay, it's, you know, you can smooth the edges out. And then I just leave these dry for a couple days in the oven. I have a gas oven. I don't turn it on. I just leave it sit on a sheet tray. And let it dry out. And then when they're all done, here's one that's been completely dried out. Grab a different one. This one's been completely dried out, and you see it's got some rough edges on it. So what I do is, when I have something that has rough edges, I have a metal nail file. And what I'll do is I'll go in and just very, very lightly with a gentle touch and file those edges down. And then on the back, you got the bump from putting the needle through or whatever you're using, skewer. And then I just lightly sand that down. Very lightly. Just enough to get it completely flat. And then take my thing and swirl it around to try to get that hole open. Like that. And then I take a firm bristled toothbrush and rub the back very lightly with just enough pressure to help get that clay smoothed out. And then, like, see, I've got some raised edges there from pressing. And you can smooth out the edges with your brush to make sure there's not like fingerprints or little cracks or anything like that. And then take your nail file and just kind of file down. Remember, this is supposed to be perfect. This is handmade, so you don't have to try super duper hard to make everything perfect. People like handmade stuff, so I know I do. I appreciate when people make me handmade stuff. And I keep it forever. Like I said, I knit and crochet, and I paint when I feel like it. I'm not a big painter, but I mostly just dabble in a little bit of everything. I've tried making jewelry, all sorts of stuff. Then you just kind of lighten up your edges. If you see like a piece that needs to get there, you can get that nail file in there and shave it off and clean it up. And then once you decide that you want to go ahead and start painting, I use a very fine tip pointed brush on that for the top, and then I use a flat brush for the sides. And then what I do is I just trace the outline, the raised edges. And the reason why I do that is because when you put your fragrance or your essential oils in it, it has a place to breathe. If you paint the whole complete top on this, then it won't be able to breathe. It won't have an issue, or it won't have an area to let out the oils, just the back. So when you go to put your oils in, what you'll want to do is you'll drip it onto the back and then just let it soak in. So that's what I do. And I put a piece of string through it. I use hemp or cotton string through it, and glass beads, wood beads, whatever I can find, pretty much. I have a bunch of beads, and I put those on there. But so you can use whatever mediums that you can find and you want. Well, I hope that helped out you guys, and I hope this video helps out a lot of people. Have a great day. Thanks.